Good evening, New Samaritan. I'm glad to connect with you tonight to share information of importance about New Samaritan's future as we prepare to move into the 9th month of life amid COVID-19. Our focus this evening is change, facts, faith, and the future. I want to start our reopening briefing by sharing this. I cannot begin to say how pleased and how grateful I am about the faithfulness of all of our members during these unprecedented times. God has used your continued partnership, your fervent prayers, your service, and your consistent giving to sustain the work of this ministry. Ministry is a marriage of pastor and people. And just like any marriage, it requires endurance through challenging times as well as celebratory times. The value and vitality of true ministry is modeled most clearly during seasons of significant change. This is when our faith must rise to the occasion, and we must fully be the church God has called us to be. Christ Church has never been about ministry behind four walls. It's always been about the connections between believers and our outreach to non-believers. COVID-19 is like a full-fledged hurricane, and the reports we heard heightened our concern and our stress level concerning the future. Some of our members have struggled, and we've prayed for you. Many in our community have faced illness and even death due to COVID-19. Unemployment, isolation, depression, anxiety about the unknown. All of this has contributed to the high levels of stress. Our church family has lost two very active members to COVID. Both of them were seniors. And of course, in some cases, our family members and friends have passed or experienced illness. Just hearing the reports of the number of COVID cases and COVID deaths around the country and around the city has been extremely difficult, and it has called us to stay in prayer. I was convicted early on that we must not shrink back from the challenges that the pandemic was creating. Instead, we had to intentionally become a part of the solution, ministering to those throughout the crisis. That's who we are, a church of compassion, conviction, and connection. And our ongoing weekly food distribution has provided over 4,500 bags of groceries and blessed a multitude of individuals, families, and seniors who have desperately need somebody to come to their need.
Hello, I'm Chandlerlyn. I just appreciate y'all's service. We're limited in what resources that we can get. We just appreciate y'all coming out here, risking and helping us, and we appreciate all y'all services. And thank you so much, and God bless y'all.
So even tonight, you're able to sow into this ministry. It might be your continued support that helps us continue to bless those who are without, whether it's the immediate community in our church or beyond our church. And we thank God for the innovative ways in which we're able to stay connected with each other and to serve each other. While our traditional methods of ministry have been disrupted, our passion and partnership have discovered new dimensions. And here are a few facts that I want to highlight in this briefing. First, we have successfully shifted to accommodate our new normal. We're now live streaming service in HD, which is no light matter. Our media ministry, along with others on the new creative development team, have worked diligently to update our equipment and ensure that we are providing the highest quality when we gather virtually on Sunday mornings. And since we suspended services in the sanctuary in mid-March, our online viewership has increased fourfold, which is not a light matter at all, because that's not the case for all churches. So we're grateful to God for it. Also, by the grace of God, New Samaritan has remained financially stable in this COVID-19 economic environment. We've kept abreast of available resources and applied for the government payroll protection program loan, which is called PPP, and we were awarded funding to assist with our payroll costs. With this addition to your faithful giving of tithes and offerings, we've been able to meet the financial needs the fiscal needs of our church. Thank you so very, very much. Another shift has been our full leap into the digital age so that we can continue to come together to study the word, engage in fruitful ministry, and simply fellowship one with another. As a matter of fact, Zoom has become our best friend, and we're not the only ones. The New York Times reported this in mid-April, that at least 200 million of us, desperate to see people outside our homes, now use Zoom, up from 10 million a few months ago. How has the digital age technology been effectively utilized here at New Samaritan? Well, here's some examples. Pastoral care. Pastoral care that includes staying in touch through the connections, touch points between pastor and people. Those Zoom sessions have been absolutely effective. Our small groups are now live in your living room rather than just held on site at the church. Seniors midweek Bible study graduated from conference calls to Zoom gatherings. School of Ministry Sunday classes, Chosen Vessels Sunday at 6, Children and Youth Saturday Night Live. All of this make productive use of the vehicle of Zoom. So in some instances, we need to continue to creatively enhance these online methods of ministry. But I'm pleased that we are also meeting real needs in this way. Live conversations, another one. A highly successful adaptation of Wednesday in the Word is brought to you through the streaming directly from Elder Kelsey and my home, and its impact is reaching well beyond the New Samaritan family. I'm pleased to report that our intercessory prayer ministry, we registered some of the highest numbers ever for our virtual prayer summit. Listen, I expect even more successful adaptations in the coming year. It's a matter of the old combining with the new. Our elders, our ministers, our deacons just picked up the phones and blessed our members with wellness calls, which will continue every month. These are just some of the creative ways that God has blessed us to cultivate our connections and to continue the work of the ministry. And I am just so grateful to each ministry and ministry leader who has had the opportunity to continue serving. I want to take this moment to also commend Mayor Muriel Bowser for her courage and her commitment to keep our city safe and keep our city informed. We regularly track her weekly updates and participate in her briefings to stay abreast of the latest news. And I also want to commend our Ward 5 Councilman, Kenyon McDuffie, for maintaining a cohesive and productive relationship with the mayor, as well as a functioning relationship with us at New Samaritan. His partnership with us is solid, and that benefits the community, that benefits the church, that benefits the city.
Good afternoon. I am Ward 5 Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie. I'm here at New Samaritan Baptist Church, spending some time with our dear friend, Bishop Kelsey, and his entire team. We dropped off some food to be delivered to those in need as we go through this pandemic, which we've experienced for the last several months. It's been a blessing, truly, to have partners like New Samaritan Baptist to be able to help support the community, the broader community, during these extraordinarily challenging times. All the work they've done before the pandemic has been amplified and multiplied during these last several months. And I just wanted to say a sincere thank you. We owe a lot of gratitude to the work that's being done right here, not simply inside the four walls of the church, but deeply rooted in the community for such a long time. And its work continues despite the challenges that we're seeing during this pandemic and doing these national and international calls for racial justice. The solid work, God's work, continues here at New Samaritan Baptist. So thank you for letting me be a part of that.
In this presentation, you will continue to hear the combination of facts and faith working collaboratively. Together, they point us toward a comprehensive approach to creating a strategy for the safe and wise reopening of our church facilities. Facts and faith are not in competition here. They intentionally coexist. Science and spirit are not mutually exclusive. Both have proven essential to our process for discerning the will of God in these unprecedented times. We've learned to strategically navigate multiple varying reports on local, national, and international levels and interpret those reports relative to our church's particular context. And so everything that applies to the city does not necessarily and automatically apply to the sanctuary. In early May, I was led to establish the NSBC Reopening Strategy Team. And they've been working diligently ever since. Weekly meetings and extensive research, recommendations for a phased plan for returning to the sanctuary services, and lots more. Their most recent reopening strategy report is available tonight on our website. And I really want you to go on the website and download it. And it contains more details that I'm able to share tonight, but I want you to hear directly from them the overview of what has been accomplished since their 15-member team was established. Our team includes those who are integral to day-to-day operation of the ministry, such as our executive directors and our director of operations, as well as those who have a role in ensuring the health and safety of our members, sanitation of the facilities, and fiduciary oversight. Ministries represented include the core stewards, Stride, our long-term planning team, Ministerial Alliance, deacons, emergency management team, facility stewards, security ministry. Represented in this group are skilled organizers and planners, many with years of experience in strategic corporate positions, as well as leadership within our church.
Good evening. On behalf of the Reopening Strategy Team, or RST, we want to thank Bishop and the New Samaritan family for entrusting us with the responsibility to be solution seekers. As you can see, we have a diverse 15-member team, yet we have worked very cohesively together. Absent tonight is Deacon Clarence Lee. Over the past 6 months, we have focused our attention on becoming knowledgeable about the impact of the virus, monitoring shifts in COVID data, assessing needs and issues particularly relevant to the church setting, seeking input from you, the congregation, about your preferences regarding the possible return to on-site church services, and developing a proposed strategic reopening plan for Bishop Kelsey to consider. As the world has experienced a roller coaster ride of varying responses regarding levels of contagion, decisions about levels of isolation, travel restrictions, and economic instability, the RST has held on for the ride so that we could develop the best plan and approach for our church family, and we will continue to do so. Tonight, a few of our members will share updates focused on the health and safety of our members and the preparation of our church facilities for an eventual return to on-site services. Minister Clark, will you share with us?
From the very beginning of the COVID-19 mandate, New Samaritan, under Bishop Kelsey's leadership, has positioned itself to make decisions based on faith and facts. We understand the need to pay close attention to the state guidelines as well as those of the CDC. We also took into account our ministry location as well as locations of our members' homes. As you know, each locality has shifted its phases at different times. It was and still is imperative that the RST stay abreast of essential health information and safety guidelines. To do this, we have monitored weekly mayoral and gubernatorial briefings as well as information from national sources. Specifically, RST members were designated to attend the mayor's briefings and weekly calls to monitor updates and reports on critical information regarding safety protocols, phases, and guidelines for communities of faith. We were able to ask questions and receive on-the-spot answers for things that directly impacted New Samaritan. Further, we attended national faith community discussions on best practices. For example, the RST attended the Praise 104 Community Forum on COVID-19, as well as the Full Gospel Strategic Planning session on preparing your church for reopening. Although good sources of information, the RST was pleased to see that many of the identified best practices were already underway at New Samaritan. Now you'll hear a little bit more from Minister Ernest Jenkins.
The RST worked extensively with the core stewards and the church attorney to finalize comprehensive liability waivers for both church services and activities or ministry events, as well as health screening forms. In addition to these documents, protocols were established to monitor entry and participation in activities. These waivers and forms provide an effective tool for New Samaritan to potentially avoid personal injury lawsuits and potential liability in connection with COVID-19 damages. New Samaritan now requires that you complete a liability waiver to attend church services and a different waiver for each activity or event you and your family participate in. Members, as well as staff and contractors, are also required to complete a health declaration and temperature screening on each day they enter New Samaritan property. The health forms provide New Samaritan with baseline information regarding your current health status and risk of exposure based on standard COVID precautions. These documents are available in our reopening briefing report that you can access via our website. Now let's hear from Elder Woods.
As we have heard, our team has been working hard since Bishop Kelsey appointed us to ensure our facilities will be ready upon our return, hopefully in the not too distant future. We have been looking at various seating capacity scenarios throughout New Samaritan to be on point as the District of Columbia continues to move us into the different reopening phases. Currently, DC Phase 2 regulations remain in effect, which state churches can hold services for up to 50% of their seating capacity or 100 persons, whichever is less. For a church of our size, we are allowed a 100-person maximum. However, DC regulations are only one of the considerations in our recommendations to Bishop about reopening. Based on 6-foot distancing, our maximum seating availability would be 175 people, including the sanctuary, chapel, and balcony. Of course, each individual church has the ability to determine when they are ready to implement DC's maximum allowable seating. Minister Jay, let's hear a little about operations.
Operations focus over the past few months has been working with our core stewards and finance office to acquire the proper sanitation and disinfecting equipment. This includes state-of-the-art aerosol electrostatic machines, which allow quicker and more thorough sanitation of spaces, additional hand sanitizer stations strategically located throughout the church and bathrooms, as well as COVID-19 signage that will be posted on our doors, hallways, bathrooms, and worship and meeting spaces. We have been acquiring necessary PPE supplies to ensure your health and safety when we do return together in larger numbers. Consultation with HVAC experts has ensured that our ventilation and air circulation is at optimum levels. We are already sanitizing the church facilities with special attention to touched surfaces with EPA-approved cleaning products. Our new equipment and cleaning protocols are already in use during any occasion the church holds essential activities. Rest assured, The facility will be thoroughly sanitized before and after worship services once those begin. Let's hear a little bit more from our brother James Massey.
Good Samaritan, we also want you to know that due to the current COVID restrictions for seating in places of worship, we have recommended a pre-service sign-up or registration system that will allow for you to go online and select a date when you and your family want to attend worship services when we open. This process will include an emailed confirmation of your reservation. The required waiver and health forms will be sent to you in advance of attending, along with the security protocols for entering and exiting the church premises. This will be downloadable in your home to minimize the documents needing completion at entry. Our goal is to make the process for entering and being seated very simple, while maintaining safe distancing and avoiding any congestion. And we're looking into accommodations in that sign-in process for those classified as vulnerable or in a special needs category. That includes our seniors, those with disabilities or pre-existing medical conditions, as well as same households that desire to sit together. Again, your health and safety are our primary goal as we plan for the time when we can come together again as a congregation in worship. Thank you so much for allowing us to update you this evening.
2020 has been difficult for many of you, but I must say it's also been difficult for me. I love being present in your lives. You know I'm a hands-on kind of pastor. Whenever I have had the opportunity to directly minister to our church family or to our community, I have put my mask on and put my gloves on and said, come on, let's do it. And I'm grateful to God that He has entrusted me with your care. As I shared earlier, I've been blessed by the faithfulness of the members who have been continuing to make ministry happen and to undergird through prayer Elder Kelsey and I and all of the New Samaritan family. We've reviewed the facts and celebrated our faith, so now we must look to the future. For the remainder of 2020, based on the team's research and based on my time in prayer, I've decided that we will not attempt any in-person services in the sanctuary. I believe that 2021 is going to manifest further change, though not necessarily a continuation of the full-blown pandemic, so we will need to continue to use wisdom as we proceed. 2021 will not be a return to church as usual because God is doing a brand new thing. We've learned new strategies and new approaches that in 2021 will be applied at an intensified level. I expect all of our ministries to re-engage on some level in the work of the ministry, even when that may require a shift from your traditional methods of service. Our RST will continue to monitor the spread of the virus, DC mandates and requirements, and federal guidelines. It is possible that limited Sunday worship services may begin at some point in the first quarter, but that will depend on what is in the best interest of the safety of all of our members. We will be watching carefully and proactively keeping you informed. In closing, let me reiterate, the church building will remain closed for indoor services throughout the remainder of 2020. We will not hold on-site ministry activities and special events during the first quarter of 2021, with the exception of our community outreach through the food giveaway and other outreach opportunities. We will continue to monitor developments in national and local COVID management. We will explore realistic options at the beginning of 2021 for incrementally returning to on-site worship services. And so, we will continue to enhance our virtual ministry, and we will do all the things that we believe will be effective for accomplishing the goal of ministry. I know this is a large amount of information. If you have any questions, I encourage you to read our reopening briefing report. It's on our website, or send your questions and comments to the Reopening Strategy team at newsamaritan.org. Reopening Strategy team at newsamaritan.org. Thank you so very much for your continued prayers. for your love, and for your financial support to this ministry. I appreciate you joining me tonight. May God bless you and have a good and godly day.